Hello there, and welcome back to the channel. Today is the 22nd of December, and soon we will celebrate Christmas, not just here in South Africa, but all over the world. And yes, we will get all these messages on all the different media platforms. Some of them are sobby, and some of them bring tears to your eyes, and some of them are nice, and some of them are classics, and the list carries on. And now and then you will get a person that will post various articles that Christmas is pagan, and yeah, so it is the same ritual year in, year out. And eventually on Monday, the 25th, on Christmas Day, the family gets together, if they can still afford it, and they all have a hearty meal, and your fat uncle is lying on the couch and snoring, and various other sounds is coming from him, which we are not going to talk about, but that is Christmas, and the excitement is there, and everybody's getting a little present. And the good news is that we are celebrating the Savior of the world. But instead, we missed the whole point. We missed the big point. We celebrate so much on the birth, but how many of us has got our eye focused on the second coming? This is the biggest present of them all, and so it's a question of focusing. Where are we focusing our efforts? And in that same breath, I want to bring that down to the situation in South Africa. And I know everybody is in holiday spirit, but for the interest of pushing the program forward, I will not terrorize you on Monday, but Wednesday I will make a new program. But today I want to speak about SOEs, state-owned enterprises, and what that is worth. Not just to South Africa, but also to our neighbours. Now, just look back to our past. Yes, and everything about, or most things about the apartheid era, or apartheid government, or the political side of it was wrong. And it should have never happened. But there is bright sides to it. And that was the amount of development that took place in this country. And there is numerous, we can bring up hundreds or not even thousands of positive points where you had this country that was basically isolated by sanctions, and yet the people thrived. Technical advantages, sorry for that, I've got a thing in my throat, was amazing. Just look at our military or our arms industry, the development that took place there. Back in the days, hospitals like Baragwana was internationally renowned as one of the best hospitals ever. Mega hospitals. Look at the infrastructure that was placed down in South Africa, the rail networks, our ports. All of this developed, I will not say just in that era, but over a time period. And some of them renowned to be top class. I mean, at one stage here in the early 90s, Eskom received international awards for the company that produced the most and cheapest electricity in the world. my family member, or to be specific, my mother worked at Eskom. I was a little boy running around there in Megawood Park for many, many years on holidays, and I saw what happened there. And back in those days, she was working at a department that was called the mothball department, where they were actually closing down power stations because we were producing too much electricity. If they only knew back then, keeping them all open. Today those sites are worthless, up to a point where you have to basically rebuild everything, because everything that was workable and operable inside was either stripped or stolen, or has come to a point of disrepair. You cannot fix it anymore. And back in those days, just for interest sake, Eskom had 24,000 employees. Consider the fact that computers back then wasn't the newest thing, the latest thing that came out. Today, Eskom has got in the vicinity of 49,000 people, nearly double that. But yet they have not significantly increased the output on electricity. This is the dangers of the system we inherited. We need to change this system. If there's a gift I can give to you on Christmas, is the idea of changing the system. From this multi-party system to come back to tribal senate. Now I've explained to you the workings and the doings of the tribal senate. I think it was two programs back. And the importance of this is when people get employed, especially those who run our SOEs, must be the best of the best, irrespective of who or what they are or where they come from. It is the person with the best knowledge, skills adequate to do their job, because SOEs is vital for our country. It is part and parcel of the growth plan. Now, the good news is some of these, and yes, they are run down and they need a lot of attention. But the scope to this is if we change the system, we can redress all of these problems. By redressing all the faults that was made with our railway systems, Eskom, transport, Transnet, Telkom, post office, the list goes on. A lot of job opportunities will be created, and expansion plans must be put in place, as well as service plans. So a lot of people can get gainful employment just by blowing new life into our SOEs. Now, I know a lot of people are looking at China and how China uplifted, I think it's 800 million people out of poverty in a question of 3 years, or 30 years, sorry. Where do you think they got that plan from? From here, South Africa. Because to be successful, to compete in the rest of the world, we need to lay the foundations correctly. We need to have SOEs that supports industry. If that is in place, you will have exponential growth. With growth comes more opportunities. More opportunities is more jobs. And this is how you uplift a nation. This is the plan. But it starts at the top. the right people with the knowledge and experience to steer this ship or ships in the right direction. SOEs needs to be functional. They need to be run according to the book. It's a government organization and it needs to be profitable. And the reason why the state needs these SOEs to be profitable is so that those monies generated goes into the fiscus, into the government coffers, not into the pockets of the politicians, but it goes back to the people. Those monies will be used and must be used to uplift the communities. Better clinics, bigger hospitals, infrastructure. It must be plowed back into South Africa and to the communities. The government is not there to make a profit. It's not there to enrich people. It's there to render a service. And this is what must happen. Our rail network was, as many people say, the best in the southern hemisphere. But today it's basically dormant. Transporting stuff by road is very expensive. Apart from that, is our roads are suffering, and this is why we have all these mega potholes and roads crumbling and breaking apart. It's because of these heavy trucks having to use the road network where we could have used rails. Kurupoort is Spoornet's plant or base there on the east side of Pretoria, close to Silverton, and basically nothing is going on there. Back in the days, South Africa produced our own coaches and engines. It was manufactured locally. There was no need to import anything. And the youth and the people of today, there's a lot of bright people, but they are not given the opportunity to bring their skills and their ideas and the plans they've got and the visions they got forward, because the current system does not support it, because the current system is filled with the people that is all narrow-minded, people that only think about themselves. This current system, this political system, is not there for the people anymore. It is driving stakes that is breaking up our communities. So South Africa, think about what I've just said to you now. We need to change the system, and once the system is changed, there's a saying, monkey see, monkey do. Now, this monkey, I saw enough. The system doesn't work. It needs to be changed. It needs to be changed. And the system I explained to you, with the troubles in it, I'm not saying it is the best, but it is an alternative, something that you really, really need to debate and look into. I'm not a politician. I'm not running here for office. I'm not going to run for a green seat there in Parliament. It is not my ambition. But if I have to, I will. If this will change the lot of the people of South Africa, if I can make a difference, I will do it. We are tired of being second-class citizens or third-class citizens. Think a bit what has happened in the past, because the past is our history school. look at the faults that was made, and when we go forward, we know what to look for and what to avoid. I'm not yet to attack or offend anyone, but I want to ask you this question. If you had a job and you lost it, whether it was COVID related or economy, whatever the case may be, maybe you were an employer at Mittal. Back in the days, Van der Bijl Park plant used to employ, I think it's 47,000 people. I was back there in 2019, I had some business there, and Newcastle and all these various plants. And it was a ghost town. I stood there and I was absolutely stunned. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Once the pride of Africa, or one of the prides of Africa, industry that supported thousands and thousands of families, now falling apart. A big rust heap there in Van der Bijl Park. Machines not working. It's terrible. But what bothers me the most is, where did that 49,000 people go to? Where are those families today? SOEs back in the days were there and promoting the employers. These people were sent on various courses to uplift themselves. Bursaries were given to the employees' children. It was investment because the SOEs knew that they will hopefully get these people back into their industry to help it grow. But all of this has come to a dead stop. It is indeed sad. But the question I want to ask you is, while we're sitting there and following this political narrative, or let me shoot out of the hip. Remember the days when the shop stewards came and the unions came and organized all these strikes, tools down. How do we long for work today? Where is those trade unions today? Do they still care about you? Did they ever care about you? Think about it. How many of you sitting today with no hope, but you listen to trade unions, partook in strikes? Your trade union, do they contact you to find out how are you? Can we support you? Can we give you a loaf of bread to eat? No. Think about it. Think about those elements that was used to break the SOEs. And the trade unions were one of them. Are we going to follow that route again? Are we going to once again vote for politicians in the same system? Lying, promising. The choice is yours. The choice is yours. Are you going to keep them in power? Are you going to allow them to and their comrades and their cadres and their friends and families, and to carry on the way they are carrying on. What's going to be left of our country? And the change starts with you. The key lies here between you and me. We have to look at the alternative. We have to get rid of the system. The system was designed to oppress. It's time to move on. It's time to come back to our tribal values. Bring the tribes around the table. Let's meet each other on an equal footing. Let's plan our future together. No dictator will uplift Africa. Africa needs South Africa. Africa is looking at South Africa for the answers. I've given you alternative. If we can change the system, we can bring our SOEs back to life. When our SOEs are back to life and running the way it should be, and even better, now that will support the rest of Africa. Thank you for those who have subscribed to my channel. Thank you for those who have shared this, and all of you that have liked, and all the comments I receive. A lot of positive comments, and so far no negative comments. But think about it and enjoy your Christmas. Enjoy the few days we have in the year that family and friends come together. I hope you have a blessed Christmas. But remember, we should rather focus on the second coming. Enjoy. Bye.